More thoughts about the late and great Sir Henry Cooper, our only boxing night so far in history. That's the whole history of the country, one boxing night. I'm delighted to say we're joined now by, well, one of the top commentators on the sport in the country today. You'll see his great work on Sky all the time. Delighted to say we're joined by the former cruiserweight champion of the world, Johnny Nelson. Hello, Johnny.
Good evening, boys. Hello.
Really good to talk to you. I've got a house full here, Johnny. There's myself and Sam Matterface and Ray Parlour.
Keep it down, boys. Keep it down.
Calm down, dears. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Johnny, talk to us from a different generation about the influence of Henry Cooper on British boxing and on heavyweight boxing in particular.
Well, just remember, Henry Cooper could have changed the face of boxing as we know it, because he boxed Cassius Clay when Clay was the fight just before he boxed Sonny Liston.
Yeah.
Now Henry Cooper trained himself for that fight, put Cassius Clay down. Yeah, consequently, Clay beating the round after. But can you imagine if he'd been trained for that fight and put him down, coming in at 12 stone 12 and still putting him down, the best fighter in the world? It could have changed the face of boxing as we know it. But I think Henry Cooper, the way he was, the jet sort of man he was, that's how he boxed. He was straight John Bull. He was a people's champion, probably one of the few people that have managed to get Sports Personality of the Year twice. Award.
And interestingly, years and years apart as well, which gives you some idea about the longevity of his popularity in this country.
Yeah, exactly. He was a people's champion. People got him. He was straight John Bull. This guy, you know, he was a boxing commentator. He walked away from the game because he couldn't be bothered with any of the nonsense having to play the game. He wanted to say it while it was. So sometimes he said one or two things that weren't politically correct, but that's just how he was. So I just think, you know, Henry Cooper, he was straight down the line, and that's why people had kept it so close to the heart.
And Johnny, also all the great work he done for charities behind the scenes, what some people don't see, you know.
Exactly.
And it was amazing what he done for all these sort of illnesses and things like that. And he's always put his there golf days and bits and pieces. He was always there doing things like that, wasn't he?
Well, exactly. The thing is, you know, a lot of people, they do these things for the publicity, for the pat on the back, always being nice and all that sort of stuff. He wasn't that kind of fella. I can remember once someone asked me to try and book him for an event. I phoned him directly and said, Henry, a friend of mine, is trying to book you for an event. He said, John, you know, in this game, if you're always straight with it, be straight. Tell him to phone my agent and we'll do it that way. You know, I can't do that because everybody's got to earn a living. I thought, well, good on you. And that's I like that, you know. It's when people say nice things about you when you're not there, which it means you're really doing something right. It means you're a really nice guy. And for Henry Cooper, I don't know anybody that had a bad word from it, anybody at all.
Johnny, you're right to go back to that famous night at Wembley where he put Cassius Clay on his bottom, and you're right to say that Henry Cooper became disillusioned and wanted to talk about some of the things that go on in boxing, but he was a victim of that because that night Cassius Clay got nearly 2.5 minutes to recover because they tampered with his gloves in the corner.
Exactly, you know, and that's one. He was the sort of man where if you were in a fight, if you were in a war, this is somebody you wanted watching your back. Henry Cooper trained himself for that fight. He weighed 12 stone 12, going in against a guy that was, what, 26, 27 pounds heavier than him, put him on his backside. And he was doing things, the way he fought, he was doing things, I wouldn't say he was a technically supreme fighter, he was just a hard case. You know, a lot of fighters, if you're a southpaw, you're a southpaw. If you're orthodox, you're orthodox. He was actually a natural southpaw, what boxed orthodox, and that's why he had such a banging left hook. That's why he had such a thudding left jab. But he was just a hard case, and that's why you couldn't mess about, you couldn't cut corners, and you definitely couldn't underestimate him, and that's why he made it hard for anybody.
You identified the disparity in weight between Henry Cooper and Cassius Clay in that first fight in 1963. Because there was no cruiserweight division, I mean, what would he be boxing now, just to clarify, if he was 12 stone 12?
12 stone 12, he would have been classed as, he would have been 4 pound over the light heavyweight limit. Cruiserweight is 13 stone 8. Well, it's gone to 14 stone 2 now. So he'd have been classed as a light heavyweight.
So it'd be nowhere near heavyweight.
Nowhere near heavyweight. He was a small heavyweight. He was a baby heavyweight, and that's why at that time it was easy for the likes of Muhammad Ali to predict what round he was going to knock people out because he had 2 and 3 stone over people. So that's why he didn't have that much respect. Cooper, when he was due to fight Sonny Liston for the world heavyweight title, he thought, I'll just go over to England and have a warm-up fight with this English bum. You know what? That made those two close, that he made Henry a hero.
I mean, it's also a mark, I think, Johnny, of the impression that he's made on people that he is, as I say, the only boxing knight to date. That's wrong. Of course, it's not the right thing. There should be more of them. But also, if you think about all the people who've won world championships under the Union Jack over the last 20 or 30 years, he never even was a world champion, but still people took him to their heart. And now it's more than that, just being a good guy. He was, as you say, without being a technically brilliant boxer, he did give people what they wanted in the ring. He gave them excitement.
Listen, they could relate to him, and that's what it's all about. They could relate to him. And in doing that, you became the people's champion. People supported you, win or lose. People urge you on, no matter what you did, because he was like the guy next door. He was like somebody they knew. You know, even if they bumped him into him in the street, he wasn't disrespectful. He didn't take it for granted. His fame. You know, he was a down-to-earth guy, and he'd give 5 minutes to anybody.
And he was, of course, a massive celebrity when there wasn't that many celebrities, but his heart was always at home with his family and his wife and his kids.
Yeah.
And also, he had a twin brother as well who was very close to George.
Yeah, I truly think he was uncomfortable with the celebrity status. And he just had an embarrassing aura about him when you'd be talking to him, and he'd just think, well, I'm just me. I just did a job. This is what I could do. And he didn't seem to embrace the celebrity stardom, but, you know, it was thrust upon him, and he dealt with it. And, yeah, he was very, very close to his brother. Unfortunately, he lost his brother last year. 2 years before that, lost his wife. So all the closest people around him, you know, he gets up at a stage in your life where that true love, it kind of disappears, and it's probably a lonely existence.
Johnny, you also should talk about the way the game has changed. I mean, obviously we've been watching film of Henry all day today on the television, and in my case on YouTube as well. I mean, obviously, you see some of the fights he was in. I'm thinking about the second fight with then Muhammad Ali, where the blood is literally pouring down his face. I don't suppose that some of these fights which Henry was involved in would be allowed to go on today.
No, it's all changed now, and you can understand why. You know, a lot of fighters, when they pass a certain stage, they start to get a little bit disillusioned with it, because now the referee will jump in if you got a bit of an eyelash out of tilt. And Henry, you saw him in that fight there, and he thinks if you're going to win to fight, go into fight. Let's have a fight. Let's have a ruckus. Let's have a tear up. Don't be jumping in because I've tripped over. I've got a little nick over my eye. And that was a true warrior, and he was an underrated warrior as well. And there should be a lot more of them around. There's only one or two of them that when we do get fighters like that, we seem to cherish them and think that there's something outstanding and special. That is what's expected of a fighter. But unfortunately, there's not many Henrys around these days.
Johnny, I want to thank you very much for that, and a very moving tribute to Henry Cooper. Just because, of course, we must. Life goes on. Tell us too, please, about what's upcoming. What big fights will Sky be covering for us very soon?
This weekend we've got Manny Pacquiao against Sugar Shane Mosley.
Hey.
That'll be a cracking fight. Sugar Shane Mosley, I think he's probably 5-6 years past his best. I believe Pacquiao would probably stop him because Pacquiao's outstanding. I think the fight that now is probably a more realistic happening is Pacquiao Mayweather. I believe that could happen. I do truly believe that could happen. So that'll be a cracker. And you know, these are the fights we want. These are the fights we crave for. And of course, on the 21st, we've got James Gale against George Groves on the undercard of Nathan Cleverley's world title tilt. And again, you know, domestically, we're going to see a domestic dust-up that gets the casual viewer wanting to watch things like this. And for me, I think it's going to be probably a good end to the season, the boxing season. Summertime comes because we start to get fights we need, fights we want, and of course, David Haye, Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah.
That, you know what, that is going to split him right down the middle. I'm going to go for David. I think he's chosen the right brother, as in Vladimir. He's young. Vladimir, he loves to be a superstar, and I think he's probably not in love in the game as much as his older brother is, and that's why if David's going to be one of them, it's going to be Vladimir, and I think it'll be an absolute humdinger in Hamburg.
And Johnny, since I've got you here, I'm not going to let you quite go either. I read a piece by Barry McGuigan at the weekend about Kelly Pavlik, who 3 or 4 years ago looked to me like he's going to be, you know, a world superstar. He's let his life go to rack and ruin. He's been in rehab and all the rest of it. Now he's out of his alcohol treatment and all the rest of it. Could he ever come back to be as great as he was, Kelly Pavlik?
No. Listen, your body to be a fighter, your body's got to be it's a supreme
Temple
level.
like mine, yeah.
He's got to somehow. He'll be able to get to a certain level and deal with a certain level of fighter. But for Kelly Pavlik, I think he was a hard case. He was a heavy-handed fighter. Wasn't an outstanding technician, and so therefore, if you've messed around with your body, you've not kept it in good condition, you're going to get caught out by some young buck that's a bit fresher than you, got a lot more left in the tank. And so I think for Kelly Pavlik, he's doing it probably for the wrong reasons, and he probably thinks he's as good as what he used to be, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Always great to talk to you, Johnny. Thank you very much indeed. That's Johnny Nelson. You can see his excellent work on Sky most weekends.